All right, now let's see if the web is working. And we'll go back to my text edit, if we can. Until then, we'll get system preferences, and where is it? So dictation and speech. So to turn it on, you would go to your system preferences, dictation and speech. So there's two halves to it. Dictation is you talk to the computer, and it types what you're talking. And then speech is the computer talks back to you what you have typed. So some people like the text-to-speech to read email to you. So we go to the dictation tab, and then we can turn dictation on and off. And it's recognizing that I'm talking. So if I go to somewhere where I can type in text, which is why I keep trying to bring my text edit up. Let's relaunch text edit. Text. Alrighty. New document. And we're going to shortcut as function features. So this is an example of dictating text. It should start in a moment. Probably computer it's a little slower. Here we are. And I'll hit done, and I'm actually done. Yeah, so if so you would say the period, comma, you'd speak punctuation to put it in. New paragraph. Erase that. We'll take the last word out, so you can correct your words. And it works a lot better on the iDevices than it does on the actual computers, which is interesting. The computer generally has more horsepower, but the iDevice has basically it's a single purpose. So it's running one thing at a time, and so more of its horsepower can be attached to the dictation than your computer that's trying to do so many other things at the same time.
Are there different models to iPad?
Yes.
Which one would you recommend?
Well, there's several hundred models.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
And they've changed over the years. Let me bring it up here. So right now there are 3 sizes of screen. There's the 8-inch screen, the 10-inch screen, and the 12-inch screen. So that's kind of your first stop is what size screen you want. I've got the 10-inch screen here. So about the size of a hardcover book. And I'm trying to get my... Still trying to get the video running. So the video says it's running, but I'm not seeing anything here. It says it's running. And it says we're getting audio. So then there are older models that Apple keeps at a lower price. So the iPad mini is the 8-inch model. We're currently at the mini version 4, but you can get a version 2 for a little less money. And then there's the iPad Air 2, is the 10-inch model. And then there's the iPad Pro, which is more powerful, and that comes in a 13-inch and a 10-inch. So there's a bit of an overlap between the 10-inch Pro and the 10-inch Air. And the prices are different for each model as well. So that's one way to differentiate them. So the 10-inch Air is $400, the 10-inch Pro is $600. But in the Air, you get a 16 gig model, and the Pro, you get a 32 gig model. So once you decide on your screen size, then you can decide on what color you want, silver, gray, gold, or rose gold, depending on the model you look at. Then you decide on what capacity. So the capacity is how much stuff you can put on it. If you're just going to do basic web surfing and email, the 16 gig model is probably enough. If you're going to do photos, you probably want the 32 gig model. If you're going to do video, you probably want the 64 gig model. And what a lot of people do is they'll get the next model above what they want so you can grow into it, because it's always annoying to run out of space before you really wanted to. Then the other option, told you there was 100 models, is they all come with Wi-Fi built in, so that's the top group here. Some of them also have cellular built in, so that you can use the iPad when there's no Wi-Fi internet service. So if you're, Starbucks, Borders, coffee shops, bookstores, there's almost always free Wi-Fi. But sometimes you could be someplace where there is no Wi-Fi, and so having cellular in the iPad lets you still access the internet over cellular data.
Do all the more expensive models have that?
Every model has that as an option.
Oh,
It's $130 more to add cellular to the Wi-Fi only models. The other thing that cellular models give you is a GPS. So you can use it for turn-by-turn directions in your car with the GPS and have a bigger screen than a GPS on your cell phone, for example. So I do that with my iPad. My car is old enough not to have a GPS built in, and the iPad screen gives me bigger directions than the iPhone. So you can see it a little easier, and it speaks the directions as you need to turn. Yeah. Oh, cool. Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, so you can get the cellular version, and then you then have to pay a cellular data plan, depending on the carrier you go for. But if you just want it for GPS, you don't have to turn on the cellular plan. And let's see if I can see the cellular details. The cellular plans are month to month, so you can buy a month of cellular data when you're going to need it. For example, you're going on vacation and want to be able to use cellular. Or if you think you're going to be needing cellular a lot, you can add it to your current carrier cell phone plan. And most of them have add a device for $10 or $20 a month to add cellular service from a tablet. The other thing some people do is you can get the Wi-Fi only iPad and then use your smartphone for cellular service. So your cell phone can be, excuse me, your cell phone has a feature called Hotspot, which gives you Wi-Fi options for cellular. So it brings your cellular data in on the phone and creates a Wi-Fi signal your iPad can see.
what if you have a dump cell phone?
Then you would have to get cellular in the iPad itself. And they used to have, on Apple's website, they had a list comparing each of the cell plans. But I have a feeling, since there's so many carriers and so many plans, they stopped giving that list now. One of the things I do is I have a T-Mobile cell plan, and I get 200 free megs a month. And I rarely go above that, because I can almost always find Wi-Fi. So I almost never need to use the cellular, but it's a nice option to have. Plus, I get the GPS option. So here happens to be T-Mobile's figures. So what's interesting is all the plans are different, and they're kind of hard to compare against because they don't always give you the same options. So like T-Mobile has a 3 gig plan, Verizon might have a 4 gig plan. So if you try to do the math out yourself, $10 a gig is fairly common on all of the plans. T-Mobile is kind of neat because you get that 200 megs free to start with every month. And they have a $5 plan. So that's the cheapest of all of the paid plans. AT&T has a $15 plan for 250 megs. So AT&T is the most expensive at the low end. Verizon is the least expensive at the high end. I think they have a 100 gig plan for 50 bucks. So what a lot of people do is they buy the cheapest plan there is and see how much data they use that month. And if they're going to go over, then you buy a bigger plan next month. Kind of the same thing we did in our cell phones forever. How many minutes are you going to use in a month? Nobody had any idea. So you bought a big plan and dropped it down. You bought a small plan and raised it up. Nowadays, almost all cell phones are unlimited minutes and unlimited text because you're paid by the gig for data. And that's what most people use now. The joke is that no one uses a cell phone to make phone calls anymore. It's always for looking up websites. All right, so let me switch over to here and bring up Siri. So Siri is the smart, intelligent assistant, is the term that Apple has used. I'm still not getting the video stream. This is really bugging me today. There we are. So now live video is working. So Siri is activated by pressing and holding. And let me put in the bigger speaker here. Press and hold on the home button. What time is it?
The time is 3:37 p.m.
Oops. And you ask a question, and it can answer the question. And my case is not letting the speaker cord plug in. There it is. There we go. What's the weather like tonight?
Sorry, I missed that.
What's the weather going to be like tonight?
Okay, here's the weather for tonight.
So it's kind of neat being able to ask questions. Now, you have to turn Siri on to begin with. When you first set up your phone, there was a question to enable Siri. And if you said no, then you have to go and turn it on yourself. So that's in settings, under general, under Siri. So you can turn Siri on. There's also an option where it's always listening, and you can turn on Hey Siri. So then you don't have to push the button, you just say Hey Siri. So if the phone isn't near you, you can say Hey Siri, what time is it, or something like that, which is kind of a neat option.
So that Siri's at all iPads?
iPads and iPhones, yes.
Okay.
If Siri, if you press and hold the home button, Siri should activate. If it doesn't, you may have it turned off. Then you can ask a question. Time, temperature, movies, restaurants, pretty much anything. You have to push and hold the button. Push and hold the button until Siri pops up. Tell me a joke.
The past, present, and future walk into a bar. It was tense.
All right, go ahead. You have to press and hold until you get the chirp. And then it does what you said. And so if you want to ask it again, then you can just tap the microphone icon. Yep. How do I bury a body?
What? Again?
Yeah, a couple of years ago, there was a big thing someone found out that if you ask Siri how to get rid of a body, she would tell you. Because the Breaking Bad TV show, we think. So you get a bathtub and you get some lye. and then she started saying, "Are you sure?" Or and now it's what again? That's not what Siri does. Well, the Maps program. So you ask Siri to take you someplace. Give me directions home. So you don't need to use Siri for that. You just open the Map program. So it opens the Map program. It's looking up home, which you probably have as a contact. And now here's directions home. So you can open the Map program. Thank you, Siri. No, I accidentally hit start. So basically, Siri does assistance for you. So almost everything she does, you can do yourself by opening the program. So getting directions, you open the Map program and type in your destination. So you can ask Siri for directions, and she will open the Map program, and she will search for that destination. Get me directions to, and then put in an address or a contact. Hold the home button until Siri comes up, and then ask your question. That might work. That might not be enough information. That worked. What can you do? Yeah. So you have a contact that says home, and so that's how it knows to go. Or you can ask for points of interest, or you can actually put an address in, and it can look that up for you. So I just asked her what she can do, and here are some of the things. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can do. And so these are some of the commands that Siri has. There's a couple ones of Easter eggs in movies that you can ask about movies, and it will give you a synopsis to the movie. What was the movie Her about? That might not be enough.
Which one?
Yeah, so which Her?
Her is the story of a man who falls in love with his personal assistant. Me, I remind you, it's fiction.
So there's.
Your story was in Rochester last week.
Oh yeah.
The voice of Siri.
Yeah, the woman who recorded all of these phonemes and speech,
Yeah.
she was a voice actor who contracted with Nuance, the big speech company, who Apple bought for Siri. So she didn't even know that's where it was going to end up, or I'm guessing she would have asked for more money. So now Siri's got a lot of extra information. In the later operating systems, they've also changed Siri. So you can change what language you're using. So you don't have to use English. You can also change Siri's voice. So right now, I've got her set to American female. Apparently, the British male voice is a very famous comedian. So that wasn't much of a secret. What's the weather like tomorrow?
Here's the weather tomorrow.
In Brighton. So I think, is that Brighton, UK, or Brighton? Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Let's do Australian female. Tell me a joke.
If I told you a joke in my language, I have to explain it.
What's playing at Movies 10 tomorrow?
Let me check on that. I found quite a number of movies playing tomorrow.
Now, it didn't give me the right theater because it's too generic a word. Movies 10. I could probably, if I said Eastview Mall or Regal Eastview, it might have had better luck.
But this series comes automatically on all of the iPads.
Yep.
So that movies in Rochester weren't.
Well, it knew where I am, so it's giving me movies in Brighton. So if I tap on one, it may be Movies 10 because Movies 10 is in Brighton. No, it's just finding me all the theaters that movie is in. Let me try. What's playing at Regal Eastview tomorrow?
I thought that you like
Yep.
remote between player and writing.
So it knew the theater that time because it was a specific enough word. But then she's telling me it's too far from Brighton. Let me turn it back to American female. What was the other one that was good? Will you marry me? Nope. Didn't get her to talk. Yeah. Please marry me.
I sure have received a lot of marriage proposals recently.
Now, if you can get a hold of someone else's iPad or iPhone, call me Ishmael.
You would like me to call you tomorrow?
So then, instead of saying Steve, whenever he answers me, or she's will call me Ishmael. So you get someone else's phone, and you can have it call that person something. Nope.
Now.
She was still listening, waiting to answer that question. Yeah, and dictated something wrong. There was actually a problem at an Apple store in England, I think it was, where a kid. Yeah. This kid went to one of the demo iPhones and put in this long string of curse words. And so the next time someone demoed the phone, it started swearing. Because it was a 12-year-old kid, and that's what they do. So, so under my info, you tell it who you are, and then that tells it what name to call you. So, give me directions to work.
Getting directions to work.
So I have a contact called work, and it knows. Most people have work at home. There was a sort of a prank people would pull when Siri first came out with that chirp chirp. You can tell when someone activated Siri.
Starting route to 7716.
So you call mom, or call home, and make the phone call because your voice was louder, or before the other person got a chance to ask. So whenever you hear that chirp chirp, you can say stuff. What's the movie 2001 about?
Which one? Here's the plot synopsis.
Oh, that one's gone. There used to be an Easter egg there where she would say something about about an intelligent assistant, a misunderstood intelligent assistant who was harassed by his crew members. So from Hal's point of view, he did everything right. It was the crew, and that's why he killed the crew, because they were wrong.
It's not like the speech engine, dragging and dictating to another application.
Yes, dictation is also there. So I can bring up any note, or anywhere you type, basically. So it can be in a website, in an email, and there's a microphone icon on the keyboard. So I tap the microphone, comma, and it starts dictating for me automatically, period, new paragraph. I don't really have to speak slowly, period, new paragraph. It's pretty fast about recognizing my speech, period. So almost because the iPad it's a single function computer, does one thing at a time, it can be really good about that one thing it's doing. When I tried to do this on the Mac, it took quite a while to bring it up because my Mac is doing 100 other things.
I've been told with those iPad, when you take photos, you have to basically download them to your iPad, because after a while they disappear.
No. So photos never,
You don't
When-
have to transfer them?
when you take a photo on your iDevice, it stays on there forever
Oh, it does.
until you delete it.
Oh,
You can transfer it to your computer. So you can have it on another device. You probably want to copy it somewhere, so you have a second copy.
because I had told this person they had a hard time finding the photo that they were looking for. And
And that can be a problem when you get thousands of photos in your library. So you can zoom out. So now I'm zoomed out farthest I can get, and which is basically year by year by year. Because I've got the GPS iPad, and even if you've got a Wi-Fi only iPad, it knows where you are based on the Wi-Fi signal. It puts in the locations. So here are pictures that were taken places. I have a lot of astrophotography. So here's one from Iceland. So this was an aurora in Iceland.
that person probably didn't know how to find them by location.
Right. So all the photos are there until you delete them.
Oh, he thought that they had gone, disappeared.
Mm-hmm. Here's one of the Soyuz capsules returning from the space station. Okay, my cord come loose. Well, that's interesting. It should show all the photos as I zoom in on them. I'm gonna bring it up. Bring up the bigger one. No?
It showed it zoom up and then lost it when you got to
Maybe. No, I don't have mirroring on. What usually happens is it shows you the photo on the big screen and you don't see it on the little screen anymore. That's weird. Because it thinks you want to do a slideshow to the big screen. In fact, let me do that as a slideshow and see if it works. No. Oh, it's playing to my Apple TV. Okay. Maybe that's the problem. Let me turn that off. AirPlay. Going out to the headphones. Let me turn that off. Now it's going to the iPad. Let me bring that up again. That was my rocket we were playing with. There we are. Nope. Let's try the slideshow again. Still says Apple TV. Because I've got the projectors plugged in. It should be playing on the.
Does that have PowerPoint?
No, it has Apple program Pages, our keynote for slideshows, or you can download Microsoft PowerPoint. That's interesting. It's supposed to. That's one of the points is you've got your pictures on your iPad. You want to display it on your television. Maybe it's assuming an Apple TV because I do have one. In this case, I want to go to the projector, not the Apple TV, and it's not.
format. You can see it zoom up and then when so I think you got to the menu format.
Yeah. How about if I go portrait? Just unplug and replug. All right. Well, now we're back to the computer. There we are. Oh, the colors are really off. That's my son with Carrie Myron from Mythbusters. He was at one of the rocket launches we went to a few years ago, covering it for Science Channel. It just doesn't want to show my science pictures. Let's try this. Let me get down to. No, this was picture that went around the internet for a while. And we just lost it again. It looks fake. And so everyone thought it was a fake picture. And then the scientists came out and said, no, it's real. There we go. Yeah. Colors are off. So that's the moon in front of the Earth, taken from a spaceship called Discover that orbits 1 million miles out. But it looks fake. But no, that is the moon. That's how big the moon is compared to Earth. I think we'll call that it for the iPad, since it doesn't want to work mirrored for us.
Steve, did I read you correctly that this is a free download for 10.6.8?
The 10.6.8 was the last of the 10.6s. There have been other updates.
But in terms of dictation software, you said, I thought I heard you say you can download some free software to enable dictation on the.
There is dictation software you can buy. I don't know what the system requirements are. And I'm not sure if it still exists because it's built into the Mac now. They may not sell it anymore. Mac Speech. Is it still Mac Speech or did they rename themselves Dragon? I guess they renamed themselves Dragon for Mac.
So that's available from that.
Yeah. But it's not cheap. You'd be better off upgrading the operating system probably. And let's see what system requirements are. And it needs Mavericks or later anyway, which is silly because Mavericks is where dictation comes built in.
Is your iPad Air 2 or is it a Pro?
This is an Air 1.
Air 1, okay. You find it, that's enough for all your needs?
That's all there was then.
Oh.
This is before the Air 2 came out. I think I'm probably getting a 10-inch Pro pretty soon. We're trying to decide. I almost never use my laptop anymore. The CIDER meeting is pretty much it, because I need to do so much with the video streaming and the audio recording. My iPad I use for 90% of everything I do. Web surfing and mail, read books on it all the time, watching YouTube videos. Flash, Adobe's Flash Player is used to play video on the internet. It gets updated quite frequently because the bad guys find and exploit vulnerabilities. So Adobe has an automatic update process in system preferences under Flash Player. But that doesn't always work for major upgrades. So when we went from 19 to 20, you had to do that yourself. From 20 to 21, we had to do that yourself. The problem is, so now we're 21. If I say check now, we'll see if there's an update since then. The problem is the bad guys put out fake Flash update notices. So by letting the Flash update itself, you can go to Adobe yourself and you got the latest version. So this is telling me the latest version is 21.0.13, and on the Macintosh with Safari, 21.0.2.15 is the latest version. So this is telling me that. So what message are you getting? So it's telling me up to date. Which almost isn't news anymore. Every couple of weeks.
installed. That little box comes up,
Yeah, that's the flash control panel.
and somehow I can't do a damn thing with it. It's on USA Today's videos.
It's on every video that has flash.
Oh, well, I believe you, but I get flash videos at work.
Settings manager, maybe they call it that.
What do you?
I'm on Adobe's website. I'm trying to bring up that settings panel. So his specific message is that he's on a website, in this case, brightcove.com, and that website wants to store information on his computer. And it's asking you if you want to allow that to happen.
And I said, no.
And then that probably won't work. Then it won't play the video because it has to.
The video's playing in the background.
Okay.
So then I said, yes. And it stayed the same. So I wiped it out, started that same section of the USA Today.
Mm-hmm.
Again, same thing, and I said, allow first. Didn't happen.
So that website is written wrong. There's a bug in their code.
Yes, they are.
So if it keeps asking him to save files, either there's a bug in the code or it's not saving properly. So what some people have done is just uninstalled Flash and don't use it at all, because many websites will switch to other technologies. Flash was great 20 years ago when it came out, but it's been replaced by newer technologies that usually work a lot better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that specific website has a problem. No, Real is a much older technology that was abandoned many years ago.
Oh, nice. Okay, so it's abandoned.
Yeah. Sometimes you find a really, really old website that hasn't been updated in decades, still use Real.
Okay.
Depending on your browser, there is a plugin list. So in Safari, there's an installed plugin command, and that will tell you all the plugins you have loaded into your computer, or specifically into this browser. So I've got some PDF plugins, I've got Acrobat Forms, so I've got a whole bunch of plugins. There used to be, let's see if they brought it back. Mozilla used to have this service where they would check all your plugins to see if they were up to date or not. But only for Firefox. It stopped working for every other browser. Well, the plugin check service only works in Firefox. So in the other browsers, you have to check the plugins yourself and update them yourself. Mm-hmm. It's probably different settings in Safari as a different browser. Each browser separately, yeah. Now Chrome has a built-in Flash player that Google updates for you. So as I mentioned earlier, so a lot of people will uninstall Flash completely. And when you go to a website that plays video, it usually picks something else. If it really needs Flash, then you use Chrome because it updates itself automatically and you don't have to worry about Flash updates. But Flash is one of the ways that bad guys can get into your computer because they're always finding holes in it. But in fact, we kind of think the bad guys have a whole list of vulnerabilities in Flash, And as soon as Adobe patches one, they just start using the next one. Because that's why Flash tends to get updated every couple of weeks. There's always a new exploit that they're finding. You don't always see that it's updating, yeah. If your Flash gets too old, Apple will block Flash from running. Let's see if I can find a picture of this. And give you, there it is, will give you a message that your Flash is out of date and send you to Adobe's website to download the latest version. So if it gets too old, Apple will stop it automatically because you don't want to have a vulnerable player playing in your computer. In fact, that was one of the problems recently, a couple of weeks ago. A bunch of large websites were hit with ransomware malware. New York Times, CNET, AOL, Time Warner, and their websites were serving ransomware and other malware. BBC, MSN. And so we used to be able to say that if you stayed out of the dark alleys, you wouldn't get mugged. So if you stay off of the seedy websites, the porn sites, the pirate sites, you're probably safe. That's no longer true. The bad guys figured out a way to buy advertising. And most websites, the advertising is automatic. So you buy an ad, the website contracts with an advertising distributor who contracts with an ad agency who contracts with an ad creator who contracts with, so like 5 or 6 levels deep. The bad guy buys an ad and it shows up on the New York Times website. And the ad has malicious code in it. And by going to that website, your browser gets infected. Sometimes it's just a fake message that you've got a virus, you've got encrypted, and you should call our phone number. Then they talk you into stealing your identity or stealing your money. Sometimes it really is a malicious program that the ad downloads to your computer. And many of the malicious programs will give you more ads so that the chance of getting a malicious ad gets even higher. Nope. You do not have to click on the ad. Displaying it in the browser already runs. Yep. Just displaying the website runs the ad, which is very not good, yes. So a lot of people have started running an ad blocker. So I'm running one called uBlock, which has blocked 15 ads on this website. The problem there is that many websites won't let you in if you run an ad blocker. So a couple of weeks ago, Forbes if you went to the Forbes website with an ad blocker on, message popped up and said, turn off blocker to view our website. Some websites are a little nicer than that. They'll say, we notice you're using an ad blocker, please turn it off because that's how we make our money. But Forbes would not let you go to the site with the ad blocker on. So people turned off their ad blocker and immediately got served ransomware malware. Because that was hiding in Forbes ad agency.
Why is it more of these guys aren't getting into bank accounts? Because
they do.
Graphic designers can easily put up a fake bank thing that look real.
You can get fake emails. I have a list of fake emails. Here's one from PayPal. Log into your PayPal account and fix the problem. I saw one go by from. Here's one from Citibank. Looks real. It's fake.
How can you tell it's fake?
Couple of things can help. It's usually awkward grammar in the text. because the guys generally aren't native English speakers. But that's not always true. You can see where it's coming from. So this says Citibank, but it's actually coming from R.D. Jones at w.c.vss.edu. So this is some guy's college account. Citibank wouldn't be emailing me from his college account. And this is a picture. It's not really an email message. And if I did this link, it's a picture, not a link. Tricky. Sometimes if you point to the link, this was a fake one from Apple. So I point to this link. It tells me where that link is going. That's not going to Apple. It's going to modagandhi.com. So the link is obviously fake, not the place it says it's going. With this one from Citibank, this is a giant picture, and this whole picture is a link to a fake website. It'll probably look like a Citibank site and want you to put in your Citibank username and password.
Put in your account.
Yep, and then they have access to your money and can suck all the money out. And it's usually gone within seconds.
I'm surprised it doesn't happen to more people.
It is happening a lot.
I mean, if you got a good graphic designer.
You don't even need a graphic designer. Somebody just grabbed that logo off the Citibank website. In 2 minutes, I could make a fake ad real easily.
But you say it's happening more than we know?
It happens more than we know because it happens so often it's not reported anymore. It's not news. You know, thousands of times a day it's happening and it's not reported because it's no big deal. Well, it's a big deal. But it's not news anymore. It just happens all the time.
That they put on a person's checking, pulling them out,
Yep.
savings.
Yep. Whatever bad information you give them, there's fake, fake PayPal, fake Amazon. Oh, now this one was good. This was from ADP. There's a problem with your payroll. So now, if I click on this, they now get my payroll account information and can suck all the money out of my payroll account that I'm paying my whole company with. There was a school. There was a school a couple years ago that lost several $100,000 in one of these attacks. And there's nothing you can do about it because the bad guys are generally out of the country. So then you got to get the FBI to talk to the State Department, to talk to Interpol, to talk to whatever country to try to find, and you never can.
So if your savings is wiped out, your checking, the bank has no responsibility.
Generally speaking, your accounts are FDIC insured up to $100,000.
Yeah, even if someone wipes you out.
Yeah, and the problem then becomes proving fraud. We've heard of some people that because they allowed, it didn't make any sense, but I can see a lawyer saying this, because they allowed the person into their account. You gave them the password, it's not fraud. Even though they fraudulently requested the password and got it. So then you have to sue the bank to get your money back.
Oh, so the person needs your password besides your account number to get in?
Usually, but not necessarily. They could call up Citibank, hi, this is, John Smith, my account number is da-da-da-da-da, I need to reset my password. So we sometimes joke that social engineering is much easier than actually writing the program. So that's what these fake virus warnings are. The bad guys don't have to write a virus. They don't have to infect computers. They just buy an ad that says you're infected, and people call the phone number and get their money stolen. So they don't have to go to the effort of writing a virus. They just have to make a notice that says they have a virus. And they're getting bigger and bigger. There was one a couple of years ago that had the FBI logo on it or Homeland Security logo, and so they make it as scary as they can to try to trick as most people as they can.
Makes you leery about this business.
Yeah. You have to be vigilant. It used to be, what was it called? The Travelers. It used to be physical cons like this, where yeah, Irish. I call them Irish travelers. I've heard them called gypsies before. So a group of people would move in town and offer you odd jobs around your house. Half down, half when they're done. So they take half down and disappear. Or they do a shoddy job, take all the money, and you don't realize how bad it is until they're gone. And then they're on to the next town. I live out in Parrington, and we were reading something about Turk Hill Road, how it got its name. The Turks were another word for these Irish gypsy travelers. And they used to set up camp on this hill that became known as Turk Hill.
Oh my God. I didn't.
So it used to be physical cons like this. Now, then for a while it was telephone scams. You get a phone call saying, "Is your computer running slow?" Most people will say yes. And well, you probably have a virus. Let us in and we'll fix your problem. And now it's fake email, fake ads on website. The bad guys are getting smarter and smarter. The ransomware is getting really bad now. There were 2 or 3 hospitals recently that got affected, and they had to pay the ransom to get their ransomville. They had to pay the ransom to get their data back. So your hard drive is encrypted, and you have to pay the ransom to get the key back. And it's kind of ironic because you hope the cops don't arrest bad guy, because then you don't get the key to unlock your data. One of the very first ransomware was CryptoLocker, and the good guys, the security researchers, have figured out how to decrypt CryptoLocker. So if you got hit with CryptoLocker, you can decrypt your data. But the bad guys now have moved on and have used that as a basis for this new class of ransomware that encrypts your data. And the good guys are always trying to figure out ways around it. And that's sort of the whole issue with encryption is encryption cannot be broken. All you can do is exploit the password. So the math is there. There's almost nothing you can do about it. Having a good backup of all your data. So if your main hard drive gets encrypted, you've got a backup that's not encrypted. But it's getting to be a cat and mouse game with the good guys and the bad guys always fighting each other. Yeah.
Can you explain AirPlay, what it does, and how people use it?
AirPlay is a technology, from Apple. You might notice this little icon at the top of my screen there. The rectangle with the arrow in it. That's the AirPlay icon. So AirPlay allows you to send content to some other place. One of Apple's first AirPlay devices was the Airport Express router. A little tiny wireless router you would plug into your stereo. And then you could send the music from iTunes on your computer over to your stereo. This was, 2001, I think, when iTunes came out. So 15 years ago, that's how you got music to your stereo. Or you plug a wire, like I got a wire and plugged into the speaker. You plug a wire from your computer to your stereo to play your music on your stereo. Then Apple came out with the Apple TV box, which you plug into your television, and you can do audio and video. So video you have on your computer or video on your iPad, you can send to your television, and AirPlay is the technology they use to do that. So you can hook a wire between your device and your television, but generally speaking, those wires are annoying. So by using the Apple TV, you can do it wirelessly.
If I've got Apple TV, which I do have, on my computer, if I see a video I like, I can send it to I click AirPlay, and it'll go to my TV
And it will
screen.
send it to your TV screen.
Now, what would it be under? HDMI 1, HDMI 2?
Whatever your Apple TV is connected to.
Well, I turn mine on and it goes to, I have different choices. AV, HDMI 1, HDMI
Right. So it depends on which connection you have your Apple TV plugged into.
Oh.
If the Apple TV is plugged into HDMI 1, then you set your television to HDMI 1.
Oh, okay.
Now, the newer Apple TVs have a newer technology built into them. So the newer Apple TV and the newer televisions can talk to each other. So when you turn the Apple TV on, it automatically switches your television to the right input. Because that's always been a pain. You know, which input is it in?
Yeah.
So I got to remember, you know, my HDMI 1 is my cable box, 2 is the Blu-ray player, 3 is the Apple TV. I think that's all. I've got 3 devices. So 4 is the Xbox. So you have to end up remembering what connection you go to for each of your devices. So I've got the AirPlay icon here because it knows I've got a wire connected to a second monitor. But if I had my Apple on my home network, it would see my Apple TV. So then I can mirror my computer to my Apple TV. And on the iPad and iPhone, it's similar. There's usually 2 options. You can mirror everything on the screen, so you see all the icons and all the controls, or you can send just the video. So if I'm playing a YouTube video, it sends just the video to the television, and I don't have to see all the menus around it.
I think that's my problem. It doesn't have mirror capabilities. It was the last model without mirror capabilities.
All the Macs have mirror capabilities.
So I was told.
Mirror, okay, there's mirror over wire, and there's mirroring over Apple TV.
I don't know the difference.
If you plug a wire between your computer and your television, you can mirror the computer onto your television. If you're using the Apple TV, you need a certain generation of computer.
Yeah, and I don't have that.
Go to the Apple menu and choose About This Macintosh. Let's see if we can find out what.
OS X.
And then one of the lines should say what model computer it is.
Memory. I don't know who it is.
There should be a model. Try this.
Not the word model.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, you're running through the whole operating system.
Yeah, I know there was some reason,
Yeah. So it doesn't tell you what model it is.
so I can't do it.
We could look up the serial number, but we won't. There we go. There's the model. So it's late 2010. Yeah, the late 2010 is a very old computer in 2016.
Yeah, right.
So in the Apple menu, you can choose About This Mac, and it will tell you information about your Mac, the system version, the processor, the memory, the model. In earlier operating systems, you would get a small window, and you'd have to hit more to get more information. In the later operating systems, you get all the information in one window.
So that's why I can't do it.
No, I haven't found that piece yet.
Oh.
Somewhere there was an Apple tech note on what computers are required for mirroring. You can send the video, or you can mirror. Here we go, system requirements. MacBook Air, you need a mid-2011 or later. So the next model of Air would have worked.
I know. That's what I was told. Basically, oh, the guy apologized. He says, they should have asked you, you know.
So you can send audio and video from iTunes. So anything you have in iTunes, you can send to the Apple TV. But you can't mirror your entire computer screen.
Right.
Would that eliminate that output cable to go to like an HDMI?
Yes. So your other option would be to get a cable to plug your computer into your television. So then that could be HDMI 2. Could be that cable.
What would the other piece of hardware need to be? Does it need to be an Apple device or
Nope.
could it be a standard television?
Yeah, just any television or monitor to run an input from your computer to your TV.
Look at the hardware, not the
AirPlay, you need an Apple TV box, which then you plug into your television.
So the Apple TV box becomes the receiver or AirPlay converted into input. You can kind of deploy the Apple TV to any display.
Right. The HDMI cable, yeah.
You can do that with the Intel network as well. So
Yeah, it has to be your own network. It won't cross your router. It won't go to the internet. There are other ways to something called screen sharing, where you can see another computer screen over the internet. Something like that, yeah.
Is AirPlay a separate box or download?
No, AirPlay is a technology built into the computer. It's been built in for about 10, 15 years.
But it only works
No, it works with any AirPlay device from any company. And the Apple TV is an AirPlay device from Apple.
and how do you know that you got AirPlay?
It would be in the features of whatever device you have. Yes. Because they all do. For the last 10 or 15 years. Yeah. Generally speaking, you will see an AirPlay icon. Zoom in on it here. When AirPlay is an option. So you won't see the icon unless you have an AirPlay device available. But AirPlay itself is built into all of the computers for quite a while. So it's supposed to look like a television screen with an arrow pointing to it. So you're sending your image to this television screen wirelessly. Bob.
We had a, I worked for that.
Oh, yeah.
We had a big Hispanic.
Nice.
Mostly we talked about Apple TV. I have gone cold turkey with Time Warner. No longer have any Time Warner stuff. I got Green Light Internet, Apple TV, Sony Broadway, which is smart TV. And I've been subscribed. I now have ACL.
Mm-hmm.
And then Netflix, and I'm thinking about that on my person. Wellness.
Yeah.
And I Hulu Plus. It cost me $11.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So a lot of people are cutting their cable TV bill by cutting out cable TV and watching TV shows over the internet. So in many cases, you can go to the network websites and go to abc.com and watch shows, nbc.com and watch shows. And with the Apple TV, you can send that to your big screen television, so you don't have to watch on your computer. Services like Netflix and Hulu, let's see, entertainment. Netflix and Hulu are services that you subscribe to between $8 and $10 a month or so, that let you watch movies and TV shows. Netflix seems to be a lot of movies and some TV shows, and Hulu is a lot of TV shows and some movies, but there is overlap between them. And they are also doing original content now. Netflix has been doing Marvel comics. They've got 2 seasons of Daredevil and 1 season of Jessica Jones. House of Cards was Netflix, yeah.
I have a couple questions about it. I'm not sure if I'm getting any benefit out of my Apple TV. I wondered about this before I bought the Apple TV. I bought it to find out.
Mm-hmm.
And my question was, I have a smart TV. What's Apple TV going to do for me that my Sony's not already doing?
Right. So the Apple TV, in essence, makes your TV a smart TV by connecting it to the internet.
Oh, okay.
Right. A lot of smart TVs, a lot of new TVs now are already being called smart TVs because they have an internet connection. It depends on the services the smart TV has. Almost all of them have Netflix. Some of them will have Hulu. Some of them will have Amazon. Some of them will have HBO. So it depends on what channels you want to watch. And if they're not built into your smart TV, then you can get an Apple TV box to have those extra channels. And then the new Apple TV box has an app store as part of it, so you can get even more channels. And also games are popular now on the new Apple TV. So you can use your television for casual gaming. But if if your smart TV already has the channels you want to watch, then you don't necessarily need the Apple TV. The other option the Apple TV does give you is being able to AirPlay from your iPhone or iPad. So you've got something on the iPad you want to see on the big TV, you know, family photos, for example, then you can send those to your television from your iPad. That's, yeah. So if you have a big enough screen iMac, that's already.
The TV's here and 27 inches right here.
Yeah.
You don't need a picture that big.
Yeah.
But here's the problem that I bring. Maybe you have some thoughts. I have Netflix on the TV remote even has a button.
Mm-hmm.
I click it, watch on Netflix, I press which one of the 4 users I am, and voila, I got Netflix. I loaded Netflix onto the Apple TV.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I'm going to maybe putting in everything on the Apple TV, I could get away with using the remote just for one Apple remote.
Trying to get a universal remote, yeah.
By Apple TV, it will not log in. Same TV, if I go with this to the TV, to Netflix, I get in no problem. But I go to Apple TV and watch it, put in address and the password, put that stuff in, and bottom line, I get an error message, 115. And somehow has to do with the device. Now recognizing something another, I connected into Netflix through Apple TV. It's not really a problem because you just go to the TV itself.
Have you logged out of Netflix on the TV to see if you can log in on the Apple TV?
I'm not sure what logging out entails.
There's usually a log out command.
You just go on to something else, I see.
Not necessarily.
But I have a similar problem.
And you've rebooted and it still doesn't.
And there was a TV set in the hotel one, the hotels I stayed in, and Netflix is an option. And I clicked on it, and you have to put in your own user account information, which I did. I did it properly, and still it did not recognize that I did not do it. So, then it was like,
I almost wonder if that might be a problem in the account. There's something in the account preferences that is limiting.
on this laptop, I put in Netflix and the information. I got it in out. This laptop it works. The TV it works. And
Now when it's an update to the Apple TV OS.
is there error Netflix error 115?
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people asking about that problem. Not many answers, but the one thing to keep in mind too is look at how much you spend on cable television. $50-$60 a month is common. So you pay $10 for Netflix, $10 for Hulu, $10 for HBO, $10 for Showtime. Eventually, it's not worth there's no cost savings over cable television. The big problem I'm running into is the DVR, the cable DVR, remembers all the shows I want to watch. If you don't have a cable TV, you have to remember all the shows you want to watch and watch them on separate channels. So if it's an ABC show, so to watch Castle, we got to go to ABC. You know, to watch something else, I got to go to History. So I haven't found a good app that will collect all of the shows I want to watch and tell me what channel they're on, so then I can watch it on individual channels without cable television.
And pricing, I've got from 175 down to 175.
Yep.
There's still things I have to figure out. You get every subscription for Sling TV. Not easy.
Yeah, Sling TV is another one. Internet television.
$20, which is secret one, and all this TV, two sports, and losing sports is whole process. I watch soccer, sports two, not available for yet. Yes, TV, That's $20. $20. They're growing. They, and but I'm not how much that's and that's
Yep.
the market gain for adding other services versus
And Sling also has a sports channel package you can add as well.
the basic package includes ESPN 1 and 2.
Yeah. Then there's the sports extra that has even more sports channels. So the ways to get television content are rapidly proliferating, and it's difficult and can be a chore to figure out what's best for you.
Time Warner getting yet?
Not really. There's a lot of inertia built into Time Warner. It's easier to use Time Warner. But one thing you should do is check your bill. We've been having all of our customers bring their bills into us, and we've been saving people about $100 a month on their bills. Quite often, you will find things on your bill that you don't have anymore. So say you had a problem with your DVR and got a new DVR or got a new cable box, they'll forget to take the old cable box off. So now you're paying for 2 cable boxes. We had a customer that had one television and was paying for 9 cable boxes. We had another customer that was paying for a Spanish language package. He doesn't speak Spanish, and so he went back over his old bills. He's been paying us for 3 years, $10 a month for 3 years. Yeah, so you got to check your bill every month, make sure it doesn't come back. I'm almost wondering if it's someone whose account number is really close to yours wants it, and someone makes a typo. Yeah, we'll add back in until they complain. And if you look at their current packages, so 200 channels plus 30 megabit internet plus telephone is $90 a month. Most people are paying about $200 a month for that. So you call up and complain, and you start by saying, I can't afford this anymore, I want to lower my bill, I might have to cancel my service, and they will want to keep you on. They will give you discounts. They will try to add services. Now, we'll throw an HBO free for 6 months, because then you forget about it and you start paying the bill. I hear a lot of people who switch to Greenlight. Time Warner can't compete with Greenlight, so they don't even bother trying.
Well, they're talking about 30 megabits. 15 was really pretty much.
Yeah.
I didn't buffer that much with the TV, but I'm sure 100's going to be a lot better for me. But when they're talking about, they might be using a basic 30.
Right.
Then a lot of people.
Well, Time Warner's maximum is 50, and that costs $70 a month. Greenlight's slowest is 100, and that costs $50 a month. So you're getting twice as fast for half the price if Greenlight is available in your neighborhood. That's the problem now. They're not available in all neighborhoods. So keep an eye on your cable bill. Make sure everything you're paying for is what you have and what you wanted. The digital television adapters are a big added charge we see. A few years ago, during the analog to digital crossover, if you had an analog television that wasn't cable ready, you needed a box to watch television. That box was supposed to be free, and it was for a while, and then they started raising the prices. Now it's $8 a month. You probably threw that TV away 6 years ago. You're still paying $8 a month for that digital television adapter.
Is that a physical device?
Yes, physical device. And then the problem there is you need to return it to them to stop being charged for it. And if you don't have it anymore, that becomes a problem. The other thing you can do is your cable modem, you're paying rental on, about $10 a month for the cable modem. If you're getting Wi-Fi from Time Warner, that's an additional $5 a month. You can buy your own cable modem for $70, $80, and your own wireless router, and stop paying them rent on the devices. Especially if you've had cable for a long time. I've had when we first saw they were doing this, I had my cable box for like 20 years. I was Charter Time Warner subscriber, and then suddenly, $10 a month because I've had it for 20 years. Well, you might want a new one. Well, don't charge me until I get a new one. Nope, that's not the way. That because they can is the answer they get.
Speaking of hardware, another addition to this whole process, Trinity.
Yeah, you get an HD antenna for television, and I get the broadcast channels in high def for free. 8, 10, 13, 21, 31. Yeah, and plus all the nearby channels too.
So you get channel 8, there's 3 channel 8s.
Yep. Mhm.
And different features on each of it. The channel 10 has a 24-hour weather that you can know about.
Yep.
And,
There's 4 21s. I think there's 3 31s.
but commercial, so the fact that
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
My next thing is for another month is getting a DVR for the system that I got now.
Yeah.
So with that HD antenna, you know, I can capture that stuff and then edit out commercials.
Yep.
Like I've been doing with cable DVR.
How much are the DVRs?
It's like $15, $16 for the basic one, plus rental on the remote, plus a charge for the guide. So you can cancel the Time Warner guide and use a guide app on your phone. The enhanced DVR, I think, is $25 a month.
That's part of what they wanted to keep me with Time Warner. Now I'll be able to record 6 simultaneous programs.
Yep.
It's really nice drawing South Carolina. Yeah.
There are some over-the-air DVRs. The ITV used to be the big one, but they don't make an American version of that anymore. They make a European version. TV, yeah, the TiVo is probably the best one. You've got a TiVo, don't you, Rick? You like it? I worked out the math on it once. So TiVo's like $15, $20 a month for their service, or $300 for lifetime service. So that's 3.5 years. So if you're going to keep it more than 3.5 years, you should get lifetime.
I think the lifetime.
Yeah.
Download.
Yeah.
If you want to set something up, it's
There's a repeating event. If it's a regular repeat, you can do it. The Cider Wednesday night is every second Wednesday of the month. That you can schedule. The Saturday meeting, the first Saturday after the second Wednesday. Haven't found a way to automate that one yet.
well,
So-
we have
so-
something that's every Tuesday. At a certain time.
Yeah, so if I bring up, whoops, if I make a meeting. And there's a repeat option. So you can do it every day, every week, every month, every year, or you can make a custom option. So when you make a new event, you've got your start, your end, your repeat. Oh, the quick event, you can make your quick event and then edit the actual event,
Okay, where did you get?
or just make an event. Click and drag on the day or the command end to make a new event. So you click on the day you want to start the event.
Clicking, dragging off that.
It should create an event when you click.
Oh. How does it get?
Double click to edit the event. And then you can edit the parameters of that event. One of them is a repeat. What OS are you running is the next question. Yeah, click on the thing. Now click on repeat. So you can choose how the event repeats. If it's a regular repeat. What was the other one I could never program was bi-monthly payday. It's the 15th and the last. Well, there's no last option. And so you say 15th and 31st. Well, some months don't have a 31st. So you say 15th and 30th. Well, one month doesn't have a 30th. And the months that have 31, the event comes up too soon. I don't get paid till tomorrow. So
Apple universe is not push.
Yeah,
Because
mine.
all the different devices don't even play nice together. Your desktop, your iPad, your notebooks, all seem to work differently.
mine all do.
I'm having a terrible time making sure that everything syncs, even though it says that they can, you know, all those settings so that all of them sync through the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't seem to be reliable.
One of the problems we've seen is there are too many syncing services. So you can have Google Calendar, you can have Apple Calendar, you can have Microsoft Calendar, you can have a calendar on your device. And sort of the short answer is pick one and stick with it. Because if you end up with too many calendar accounts, so I can create a calendar event on the Mac that has Apple Calendar. If I go to my iPad that has Google Calendar, I'll never see it. So you have to make sure you've got the same calendar service on each of your devices.
How could you clear everything out? Like I got the whole year of the I just want to clean that out.
Click on an event and hit delete to delete that event. Yeah.
Okay.
And if you want to delete all of the events on that calendar,
Yeah.
then you can click on the calendar. And where is that? This is delete. I want to delete the calendar. You might have to right click on it, is it? Oh, my computer is stalling. Got it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So.
So you've got three calendars.
That's right.
You've got calendars on your Mac, you've got calendars on Google, and you've got an other.
Yeah, I know.
So if you want to delete that one, control click on it or right click on it. Mm-hmm. And then click on birthday. Well, clicking the check mark hides it. If you want to delete it completely, click on the name.
Well, yeah, I want to just clear the whole thing.
Well, do you want to hide it and leave it there, or do you want to delete it?
Hide it and leave it there.
So that's what you've done. So if you click the check mark, it hides the events in that calendar. But those calendar events are still there, and you can unhide them later.
Oh, okay. Now, how do I get it? So, like you say, I get the Google thing, and then, you know, and I want to check. How do I get it?
You you'd go into your calendar preferences and delete that account.
I could just delete the
Yep.
calendar,
The account.
the whole Google, but I got Gmail.
Well, that's mail. That's not calendar.
Oh, see, I thought if there's something at Gmail, that automatically meant you at Google.
Yes. But Google gives you many services. There's Google Calendar, there's Google Mail, there's Google Contacts, there's Google Talk, there's Google Messenger, there's Google Voice. So you only need to use the services you want.
Yes, what would I go under? I want to get rid of this.
Go into Calendar and go to Preferences and delete the Google account. And there should be an account button. No, not. Go to Calendar first.
I did.
and then go to preferences in the calendar menu.
Over here.
No, not system preferences, calendar.
Oh, where it comes from.
Go to the calendar menu.
Yeah, right?
No, that's the calendar button. Go to the menu.
There.
And then preferences.
Oh, okay.
Then accounts.
Oh. Okay.
So those are the two accounts you have configured.
Yeah.
And then you can hit the minus button at the bottom of the list to delete that account.
Oh, I see. Share my other applications.
So you've got a bunch of applications using your calendar, so you have to do it in a different place. So click on internet account. And now you can delete your Google. So now here, this is telling you that you've got Google Mail, Google Contacts, and Google Calendar for Google Messages.
Right.
Uncheck the things you don't want.
Oh.
So if you want to keep Google Mail, leave that one checked. If you don't want Google Calendar, uncheck it.
Oh, okay. And then just delete it.
No, that will delete your mail.
Oh, that's right. Google Mail.
If you want to keep the service. So in later operating systems, I think starting around 10.9, they added this internet accounts system preference. There we go. So system preferences, internet accounts. And so this will show you all of the accounts you have set up that use internet services. So I've got, 3 Apple accounts, a Google account, and a Roadrunner account. So when you click on one of them, it will tell you what services you're using in that account. So if I click on iCloud, in a few moments or here, it's going to bring up my iCloud services.
Which I don't.
And then you can uncheck the services you don't. Services from that. You can hit the minus button to delete that account completely from your computer.
When you say delete, you don't get access to it, the account will still be there. Data
Yep.
there.
Accessible from other computers.
If you stop using iCloud for reminders stored in iCloud will be deleted from this Mac. Like I get video reminders from my brother on the cell a film.
Is it a reminder or is it an email?
Is it email?
Then it's not a reminder.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Reminders are something else that you use the reminders program to remind you to do something. All right, one last question.
What's the best remote communication solution?
How do you define best?
Secure, not as organized, but not extremely technical.
TeamViewer is probably the best choice for personal use. It's free for personal use. It's most expensive for corporate use. It's like $800 a year. You can use iTunes or iChat screen sharing if both of your people are on iChat.
Define that. Does it mean they're same network, same machines?
No, they're using iChat on each computer.
That's clear.
Yeah. So that's basically it's apple to apple. TeamViewer can be Mac, Windows, Unix, anything.
I'm using these, right? Just wondered if there was something else to go. It seems to work. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Although moving files is not the requires the best.
Yeah, it's mostly it's screen sharing. You want to control someone else's screen, or you want to see what they're doing. Yeah, remote tech support, help them do something. Yeah. And unfortunately, the bad guys also use screen sharing devices. So go to my PC or log me in or TeamViewer. They'll use those programs to log into your computer to fix your problem. And so the bad guys have taken over another tool that the good guys have used forever.
Okay, you still have to allow them to do that. That's not something
Yes.
they're doing it. So they're
Right.
social engineering the way.
Right. Yeah, they're on the phone number you called because it said you were infected and you let them in. There is a join.me So if the person at the other end hasn't set up anything yet, you can use join.me, which is part of Log Me In, to do a one-off screen sharing with them right now. So with TeamViewer, you have to install TeamViewer at their end, or talk them through installing TeamViewer, then you control. But if they're using iChat or messages now, then you can do iMessage screen sharing and be able to remote control their screen, or at least remote view their screen, if not control it yourself.
Okay. You were charging companies big money, so they can give it for free.
Yeah. Log Me In used to have a free product that was really great for commercial or for non-commercial use, and they said free forever, which was great until they discontinued the product.
Somebody bought it. You put their corporate buyout.
It's the other way around, I think. Log Me In just bought somebody else.
Okay. Somehow that happened.
Yeah.
The whole free forever thing.
Well, and it technically was. Log Me In free was free for the life of the product. Don't make that product anymore.
Very, very good.
So now it's Log Me In. Yeah. So for commercial use, Log Me In Pro is probably the best of the services. I get tied between Log Me In and go to my PC. So Log Me In is $150 a year for 2 computers, which isn't bad. If you're a business, yeah. Alrighty.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Very good session.
Thank you all for coming. For your questions between weeks, there is Sound Bites Saturdays at 12 o'clock on Jazz 90.1 FM. We call in question and answer. And then the next Apple Cider meeting will be May 11th. Content to be determined.
Always on Wednesday.
Oh, yeah?
I want to come to it. It's like,
Yeah.
never going to happen.
Well, and then you can watch the videos later. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right, now we'll shut down everything here. Shutting down is often than setting up, and it doesn't make any sense. That one I want to leave open because I got to do our IRS form.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, tax day is not until Monday this year because there's a federal holiday. Well, it's not a federal holiday. It's Washington D.C. holiday.
We're not living in the right place.
But yeah, since everything is processed in Washington, they've stopped